With a lifetime of savings and a stable pension, you'd think the rest of your life would be peaceful and worry-free. But sometimes one wrong decision can change everything. In today's video, we'll share the story of Mr. Brian, a 69-year-old retiree from California who thought he had planned well for his golden years, only to face unexpected hardships. This is a real-life lesson on how careful financial planning can make all the difference in retirement. If you find this story valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel, where we share more life experiences and insights for seniors. With the savings accumulated in the first half of my life, along with a stable pension, I thought the rest of my life would pass by peacefully and serenely. After reaching retirement age, having a stable monthly income from a pension, no matter how small, provides a sense of security for many as they approach their later years. However, reality does not always unfold as expected. Many people still struggle to retire, all because of one wrong decision. This is exactly the case for Mr. Brian, 69 years old, in California, USA. Both he and his wife, 68 years old, are retired employees with pensions. They should have been enjoying a comfortable old age, traveling and dining out, savoring pleasures that many young people envy. But in reality, the couple is living in hardship during the last years of their lives. Why did this happen? Mr. Brian believes it all stemmed from a wrong decision he made right after retiring. Here are his thoughts. My wife and I are retired workers. Thanks to saving diligently, we bought a house and a car when we were young and planned to enjoy retirement with our modest pensions, about $5,000 for both of us. We no longer worried about life and enjoyed everything quite happily. Life was simple, but emotionally fulfilling. We discussed and planned to move back to the countryside, using our $200,000 savings and pension to live day to day and travel across the country once. But after retiring, we made a wrong decision. It all started when my son was about to propose to his girlfriend and wanted our help to buy a car. So, we gave him around $100,000. After the proposal was successful, we gave him another $50,000 to help with the wedding. Once he was married, my son worked hard to support his family. Being a filial son, he called us frequently, assuring us that he would care for us in our old age, promising to be there for us during illness and to always stay close as a family. "You should come live in the big city once and experience modern life," my son said. Touched by his words, my wife and I decided to move in with him. During my daughter-in-law's postpartum period, they asked us to help with the household chores. Both of us agreed, thinking it was the right thing to do. Once my daughter-in-law returned to work, we continued to take care of the house, and I also helped look after my grandson. On weekends, when they had some free time, if we weren't looking after the baby, my daughter-in-law would take over, so my wife and I could walk in the park or do some light exercises. We have been living here for about 5 to 6 years. Now that my grandson is old enough for preschool, I also handle the pickup and drop-off duties. This life was somewhat stable because my wife and I still had a decent pension. But unexpectedly, my son expressed the desire to buy a larger house for more comfort. At first, we objected, feeling it wasn't necessary. But later, when they mentioned wanting our grandson to attend an international school, which had high tuition but promised great opportunities for the future, we reconsidered. The new house would be located near the school, making everything more convenient. Out of love for our children and grandson, my wife and I decided to sell our old house in the countryside, adding the savings to help pay part of the mortgage. Now, we only have our pensions and a small portion of savings left. Birth, aging, illness, and death are inevitable stages of life that everyone must go through. At the age of 64, I began to face these challenges. After seeing the doctor, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. The pain made it difficult for me to move around, and I could no longer manage household chores. When it rained, my knees hurt even more. I spent many sleepless nights, unable to sit or lie comfortably. I took both traditional and modern medicines, but most of our savings and pension went into medical expenses. With no money left for personal expenses, and with both of us growing older and sicker, we began to feel like a burden. Even though our children and grandchildren showed no negative attitude and continued to care for us, we felt like we had become unwanted guests in this house. After using traditional medicines and applying herbal ointments, I constantly carried the smell of a patient. My young grandson, being sensitive to the smell, gradually distanced himself from me. Eventually, I began to spend most of my time in my room, with the door shut, avoiding going outside. Now, from time to time, I think about the plan to return to the countryside to enjoy retirement. Even though it would just be the two of us, life in the countryside is much cheaper, and we would have neighbors to share moments of joy. That would certainly be better than being stuck inside these four walls in the city. But then I remember, the old house has been sold. Where would we live if we went back? Every event in life is like a row of dominoes. Once it starts, it's hard to predict all the consequences. It's only when one piece falls, toppling the rest, that we regret having made impulsive decisions. I don't blame my children. It was their filial duty to want to take care of their parents and keep us close. I don't regret selling the house either, as it helped improve our children's future. I only regret that we spent money without a plan. If we had thought more carefully, we might have found a solution that worked for everyone, avoiding the confinement we are in now. The story of Mr. Bryan and his wife is a sobering example of how even the best-laid retirement plans can unravel due to one seemingly well-intentioned but impulsive decision. As they entered retirement with the security of a stable pension and a comfortable savings cushion, they had every reason to believe their golden years would be filled with peace, simplicity, and joy. However, the decision to provide significant financial support to their son, coupled with further unplanned spending, set off a chain of events that drastically altered their lives. There are several valuable lessons to be drawn from their experience. Lessons about financial planning, family dynamics, and the unexpected challenges that can arise in retirement. The importance of a financial plan in retirement. One of the most critical takeaways from Mr. Bryan's story is the importance of sticking to a well-thought-out financial plan, especially during retirement. After decades of working and saving, Mr. Bryan and his wife had amassed a substantial amount of money, including a $200,000 savings account. This, combined with their pensions, provided a solid financial foundation for them to live comfortably and even explore travel opportunities. However, they did not anticipate that their emotional attachment to the family would lead to decisions that would deplete their resources. Financial discipline is crucial in retirement because income is often fixed, with pensions or Social Security acting as the primary sources of revenue. In Mr. Bryan's case, their monthly pension of $5,000 was sufficient to cover daily living expenses. But giving away $150,000 to their son for a car and wedding quickly diminished their savings. It's a stark reminder that retirees must budget carefully and be aware of the long-term impact of large financial gifts, no matter how much they love their family. The emotional tug of family support. A major factor that contributed to Mr. Bryan's financial strain was the strong emotional desire to help his son. When his son asked for assistance in buying a car, and later in paying for his wedding, Mr. Bryan and his wife did not hesitate to provide financial support. It is natural for parents to want to help their children, especially when they start new chapters in life. But the lesson here is that it is essential to set boundaries. Helping a family financially is noble, but it must be done within the limits of what one can afford, without sacrificing personal financial stability. Mr. Bryan and his wife did not consider the long-term impact of their generosity, and as a result, they left themselves vulnerable to future financial hardship. While the intention was pure, the outcome was detrimental to their own retirement plans. The lesson for retirees and those nearing retirement is clear. Support your family, but not at the expense of your own financial security. Before offering financial help, it is wise to consult with a financial advisor and consider how such actions will affect your long-term stability. By setting boundaries, retirees can still help their loved ones without jeopardizing their own futures. The domino effect of a single decision. One of the most poignant reflections Mr. Bryan shared is how every life event is like a domino. Once the first falls, it can set off a chain reaction. In his case, the initial decision to give his son $150,000 for a car and wedding led to a series of subsequent events that exacerbated the situation. After their son married, he and his wife invited Mr. Bryan and his wife to live with them in the city. This move, while seemingly positive at first, led to a slow erosion of their independence. While living with their son and daughter-in-law, Mr. Bryan and his wife found themselves increasingly involved in household chores and childcare, roles they hadn't anticipated taking on so fully in their retirement years. Additionally, their son's desire for a larger home and a better education for his child prompted them to sell their own home and contribute to the mortgage on the new house. These decisions, though well-intentioned, left Mr. Bryan and his wife with only their pensions and a small savings cushion, creating a precarious financial situation. This series of events illustrates how one decision can lead to unintended consequences. In retirement, decisions should be made with careful consideration of all potential outcomes. Mr. Bryan and his wife didn't anticipate that their desire to help their son would lead to the loss of their home and independence. The lesson here is to think long-term and evaluate how one decision may affect the rest of your life. The psychological impact of financial stress. Beyond the financial lessons, Mr. Bryan's story also highlights the emotional and psychological toll that financial stress can take, particularly on retirees. As Mr. Bryan's health declined and his ability to contribute to household chores diminished, he began to feel like a burden to his family. Despite the fact that his son and daughter-in-law were caring and supportive, Mr. Bryan felt unwanted and isolated, which ultimately led him to retreat from family life and spend most of his time alone in his room. The stress of financial insecurity, coupled with declining health, can have a significant impact on one's mental well-being in retirement. Mr. Bryan's sense of isolation and regret over past financial decisions led him to question his choices and wish for a simpler life. It's a powerful reminder that financial planning isn't just about money. It's about preserving a sense of independence, dignity, and mental peace. Conclusion. Mr. Bryan's story teaches us the importance of careful financial planning, even in retirement, when income is often fixed. It reminds us that while supporting family is important, it must be done within the boundaries of what one can afford, without sacrificing personal stability. The domino effect of one decision leading to unintended consequences highlights the need to think long-term and plan for the future. Lastly, the psychological impact of financial stress in retirement is a crucial consideration, underscoring the need for retirees to prioritize their own well-being. Mr. Bryan's story is a powerful reminder that even with the best intentions, our decisions can lead to consequences we never expected. Careful planning and balancing our needs with those of our loved ones is essential. Have you or someone you know faced similar challenges? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and let us know your opinion on today's video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories and tips on navigating life in retirement. Thank you for watching.